In the NFL, Troy, there are fixable problems and unfixable problems. To me, Philadelphia's lack of speed at wide receivers unfixable. They don't separate. I look at their offensive line, though, and I think that can get better. Can it?
Yeah, I believe that it can. I mean, right now, obviously, the attention is, on the guards. The fact that they didn't bring back Evan Mathis and then Todd Harriman, they released those guys, and they've got some younger players in those roles. But nobody played well last week. Nobody played well, really, in the first game against Atlanta. So I think it's all correctable. I still believe enough. We've not seen. We saw it in the first half against Atlanta on Monday night. This was obviously as poor an offensive performance as you'll see. We're not accustomed to seeing Chip Kelly's offense struggle like that. We've seen them go through periods where it's not real pretty, but eventually they get it going. They never did in yesterday's ball game. I still believe that they've got enough there that they should be a formidable offensive unit. But Sam Bradford, he's got to see the field better. They do have to be able to create some separation. When the Cowboys played man coverage, they were unable to.
Yep.
I thought the Cowboys did a nice job of mixing up the coverages, but they really kept the receivers confused. But this Chip Kelly offense, as you know, Colin, going back to his collegiate days, it really is based on running the football. I mean, that's what he wants to do, and for whatever reason, they've just not been able to get it going. I mean, I don't care. You could put Jim Brown back there in his prime, and he was not going to get yards. These running backs have just had no opportunity to get the ball and not have someone in their face immediately in the backfield.
Could I make an argument if I was not a fan of Chip Kelly? And I say, let's say I don't like Chip Kelly, and I say, he let Jeremy Maclin go, he doesn't re-sign a guard, that he's fallen in love with his system, and he doesn't understand in the NFL, system alone can't win, and maybe he's been arrogant with personnel.
I don't know. I would tend to. I wouldn't take that strong of a stance. In having had the opportunity to sit down and visit with Chip. I don't think he's a big ego guy. I don't think he's trying to prove that this system works. I think he has beliefs, as all coaches do. I mean, every coach in this league has a belief in a particular system or a particular way in which you win games. And, for Chip Kelly, it's a little unorthodox. It's different from what we're accustomed to seeing at this level, but I don't think he's trying to prove anything. I think the players that are no longer there, for whatever reason, they either, A, didn't fit the kind of player that he wanted in those spots, or two, they didn't buy into the system.
Yeah.
But the one point that I would make, and where I would agree with you on, is that I think, and I've mentioned this before, I think part of being a good offensive team is that, yes, at times you play fast, but also at times you slow down. I think you dictate tempo, whether that's fast or slow. And it depends on who you're playing and how the game's unfolding as to what approach you take. And I don't think you can just constantly say, hey, we're going to play fast. Now, yesterday, none of that mattered. They never even put enough plays together to try to play fast.
Right.
But, that defense, obviously, they played well yesterday, but sometimes you got to help them out a little bit when you are going well. And that's the one part where I do think that at times Chip does get a little hard-headed and say, no, this is what we do, and sometimes to the detriment of the defense.